Hi everybody, this is Allison with the Screencast on how to use an iPad to build screencasts for your students. I use my iPad quite a bit as a way to prepare worked problem sets for my students or to take notes on slide decks so that they can see personal notes. I've also used them in the past as a way to collaborate with students. But the iPad, particularly the program called Notability, I find has been very helpful as a way to take my writing to them as a video. All right, so I use the screencasting capabilities that Apple has already built into the iPad. And so if you look in the upper right corner, you're going to see the red dot, which indicates that I'm currently recording. All right, to access that, you're going to drag down that top area and you're going to have this submenu pop up, and you'll see my blinking recording dot. Now, I'm not going to touch that right now because that'll stop the recording, which is antithesis to what I'm trying to do. But if you were to use it, that would be blacked out just like all the others. And when you tap on it, that would start the screen recording, the screencasting for you. One thing to keep in mind is the first time you do it, you need to touch the dot and hold it. And a little submenu is going to pop up and ask you what screen you want to look at. You don't need to change that, but make sure that your microphone is turned on. That has happened to me in the past where I did not have my microphone turned on and I ended up doing a whole screencast of nothing. So make sure you check that. All right, now if we go back to the main screen, I like to use Notability. If you do not have Notability, you can easily download the free version from the App Store. The icon is this pencil with a microphone that's down on the bottom, so I'm going to click that, and it's going to open up Notability for me. All right. I have a lot of notes in here already. You can download any PDF file into Notability and begin to write on it that way. You can also have a blank one, and maybe you do notes this way. If you would like to do a blank one, down in the lower right corner, there's a blue icon with a pencil and a square. You click on it, it opens up a new note. When I take notes, I also like to put lines on there. So we have options. You can go to the three dots in the upper right corner and you can add templates, and you've got some choices for what that's going to look like. I usually use the rule paper, and then I say apply, and then I have lines. You can also easily choose something else. Let's say you need to do some graphing. You can turn it into a graph paper. It's kind of up to you for what you need for your note. All right, now your options for writing, I have an Apple Pencil, all right, and I can use that pencil. I can adjust the thickness of the lines. I can adjust what type of line, a solid, a dashed, a dotted. All right, I can also choose one that's narrow at the ends and wide in the middle, so more like a calligraphy line. I also have a lot of color choices, as you can see, and you can add in all kinds of colors. So if there's something in particular you would like to use, you have that option. All right, you can also switch it from a pen to a pencil. All right, if you want to see the difference, this is a pencil. Whoops. All right, and then if I switch it over to a pen, this is a pen. All right, so you have a lot of option when it comes to what your text is going to look like. Now, what if you don't want to handwrite it? That's okay. You have a text box option, so you click the text box and you draw the box on here, and then you can use the keyboard that pops up to type something in. All right. Another option, let's say you're using it to go through some notes for your students. There's a highlighter, so you can choose the different colors, the thickness, all the same options you have with the pen, and you can highlight something. So let's say I want to highlight this, okay? Let's say you make a mistake. The eraser is a way to erase something, or you want to grab and move something. You can use the squiggle line, and then you draw around what you want to move, and then you can move it. You can also increase or decrease or turn using your fingers on your iPad. You can copy, cut, convert, save, whatever you highlight as well, all right? Now, one other piece that's really handy with the eraser is if you click on it and hold it, you can do partial or whole, all right? So if I wanted to just erase some of this yellow stuff, I could choose a partial. All right, if I wanted to erase this entire thing, I can use the whole, and I can erase just the yellow, or I can cover all of it and erase it all. All right. Now, for me, the most handy usage of it is as a way to look at problems. So I have a bunch, I'm sorry, this is a little messy, but let's say I go here. All right, so this is a worksheet that we're using in my chemistry class, and I like to put together screencasts that I call chem calculation screencasts. So this would be an example. I would have a worksheet, and then I would bring it into Notability and then use the screencasting function of the iPad to work through this particular activity. As part of this, I could write down here, oops, make sure you turn it on. Copper, zinc, I'm making stuff up. If you're a scientist, please ignore me. All right, you could write in the line notation, however you wanted to do that. And then down here, you can see that I've got a figure built into my worksheet, and I can draw right on it. So let's say I have nitrate ions in here, and I have potassium ions over here. I've got copper forming copper ions and electrons. You can write right on the screen, all right? And you can narrate as you work a problem and then provide that to your students. So it's an excellent way to help students who've been absent or students who are struggling with a particular concept. It just gives them another access point, which I have found to be very useful, all right? So once you're finished with your screencast, all right, you have to do a couple different things. First, you're gonna want to upload your finished worksheet if you would like your students to see that finished work. To do that, you're going to click in the upper left. There's an upload button. You can choose Google Drive from there, and you can choose where it goes. Make sure you have a PDF format, all right, and then you would just say send to Google Drive, all right? So it'll tell you it's working, and then it will send, all right? When you're finished with the screencasting, you're going to click the red record option that's up in the upper right corner. I'm not going to do it again because it will stop. All right, once that happens, it will stop recording, and your iPad's going to spend a couple minutes processing that finished recording, and then you're going to get a notification that it has put that screencast into your photos file. All right, so let's go look at one that I've done in the past. All right, so if I go to photos, all right, let's back up. All right, here are a couple. So I've got net ionic equations, so let's say this one, all right? So you can see that I've got a screencast right here, all right, and it's going to play. I can move it, see? You can see all my work coming onto that screen, all right? And so you can upload this from your iPad to Google Drive, and that's what I usually do. I'll put it in the file that goes along with the topic, and then it comes in as an MP4 file. So you have a couple options from there. You can just provide that MP4 file or a link to it to your students, and then their Chromebooks or other device will actually utilize its own interior programs to open it up and play it for them. Another option is to upload it to your own YouTube channel. And if you do that, then you can provide them with a YouTube link to that particular video. All right. If you would like to know a little bit more about the YouTube option, please let me know. I would be happy to put together a screencast for that as well. Okay. So in summary, if you have access to an iPad, the iPad is an excellent way to produce screencasts where you want to narrate yourself writing notes, working problems, or just explaining something that you need to in regards to your class materials. Right? It's very easy to use, but you do need to make sure that the microphone is turned on before you start the recording. All right? Notability, in my opinion, is one of the best programs for writing directly on PDFs or producing note sheets that you can narrate alongside as you do it. All right. The output is an MP4 file, which you can then share with students or upload to YouTube and then provide a YouTube link. Okay. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask.